The government has held its last joint party room meeting for the year. The Prime Minister telling the coalition Australia has passed the COVID tests. Live to political reporter Jonathan Lee. Jonathan, the PM says the nation has emerged stronger from the pandemic.
Yeah, Tom, it's perhaps an indication of just how tumultuous 2020 has been, that we started with a summer of natural disaster, a Prime Minister on holiday in Hawaii being accused of abdicating his responsibility and duty, and we finished the parliamentary sitting year with him telling the coalition that the government has delivered, the country is more united and it's overcome the greatest challenge since the Great Depression. In fact, he talked about delivering stability for the nation, a unity of purpose. We lost 850,000 jobs. The vast majority of those have returned, and he says the government has delivered for the nation.
And despite the challenges of this year, I believe Australia is stronger today than it was a year ago. And I believe Australia will be stronger again next year, because Australians have been tried and Australians have passed the test. And we have played our role in supporting them in that great challenge this year. But it's not over yet. It's a long way from over yet. Of course, the comeback has begun, but the recovery has still quite a journey ahead of us.
Yeah, Tom, with his unprecedented popularity, the Prime Minister was also magnanimous. He thanked the party for their support. He also made the point that they needed to remember the quiet Australians.
Australians have cleaved to each other this year. They have shown tremendous acts of kindness and sacrifice and devotion. And so as we come to the conclusion of this parliamentary year, let us think of all those Australians who quietly go about their daily lives, who quietly go about running their businesses and are thankful they still have one.
Meanwhile, Jonathan, another day the government outlining changes in industrial relations. It looks increasingly unlikely they'll get bipartisan support here.
Yeah, you're probably right there, Tom. The government talked about taking the handbrake off the economy, providing more flexibility for employees here. Basically, what this is all about is the IR reform, the compact, which they've been working on throughout the pandemic. The government, there's a lot of caveats here. This will end up going to a committee, so it's a long way from being agreed upon yet. But the government obviously thinks there's work that can be done and work that can be achieved here. In regard to the part-time employment, the flexibility is only available if, and we can bring up a graphic to show the viewers, the employee agrees to work the additional hours. The part-time employee is engaged to work at least 16 hours per week. The shift length is at least 3 hours. The total work is less than 38 hours, and the normal penalty rates apply. The government makes the point that this is all about confidence and certainty. The opposition, though, isn't so sure.
We'll adopt a constructive approach to it, but if it fails the test of delivering secure jobs with decent pay, then we'll oppose those parts of it. That's what we'll do. The government yesterday was more conciliatory on this bill than they've been on other pieces of legislation. And if they offer a constructive way forward, then we'll take it.
Yeah, the opposition framing a yes or no answer. Will employees be better off or worse off? That's the question. Yes or no, that's what they were asking in Parliament yesterday. Stephen Ferguson from the Australian Hotels Association made the point on Sky this morning that a number of these changes have been operational in his sector for some time, and he says workers are happy.
If you look at a two-parent family, one person might be working traditional 9 to 5. The other partner might say, well, look, I'm only available, on weekday evenings and on weekends, and I want a minimum of 20 hours. Now, that can be put into the agreement. Most importantly then, too, is that they can be rostered up from that, provided both parties agree, to, say, work another 10 hours. But it's at normal rates. Now, if that was going to be at overtime rates, at 150%, that person wouldn't be offered that work. So it's working in our system already.
Yeah, Tom, the government might be framing this and shaping this as a great industrial relations compact between businesses and unions. This will now go off to a committee. There's still a long way to go before anything is decided. Tom.